Okay, it's been a while since we've done this, so we're going live. And the main reason of going live is that I wanted to talk about this concert that's coming up. So we'll wait for a few people to kind of flow in and start watching. I also got to share this link a couple places too. So let's go ahead and just click on this. We got the live coming up. Let me mute myself. Okay, we got myself in there. Let me go ahead and share this on the Discord. There we go. And we'll also do this as a sort of an ask anything you want as well, so like an AMA on top of that. But mainly the reason why I want to do this video, and if the time is not that good to get a bunch of people in to watch, then what we'll do is we'll just I'll just end it with what the update is, because the lives get watched like regular videos afterwards anyways. So let's go over the news first. So the big news is that next week I'm going to be at Indiana University, the Jacob School of Music, which is a fantastic school. It's a really great school. I've had a lot of colleagues that have graduated from there and have very, very successful careers. So that's the first part of the news there. And so I'll also write that in there a little bit. So we have the Indiana University visit. And this is also with the Jacob School. Jacob School of Music. I cannot type anymore. Okay, so there are some events that are happening there that are open. So many of you may not know this, but a lot of universities, even very large and prominent universities, are what are known as open campus. So you can actually go and attend classes at any of these universities. You don't have to sign up for an audit. You don't have to do anything. The campus is actually open. And so the Jacob School of Music is like this. So even outside people can join the class. So, this is really interesting. So March 3rd, I'm arriving in Indiana. All right, and we have a rehearsal that's going to happen with the orchestra there. On March 4th, and one thing I have to be really careful of, I want to make sure, yeah, that's all working, cool, so I have audio. So what's happening after that, so we have March 4th at 12 p.m., my friend Gabe Lubell, who I met at the Kenyon College in Ohio, I believe. We went out there and I premiered one of his pieces and did some classes. He is actually a professor at IU now. And so he teaches a course there. And I'll be jumping in and providing some course material and doing a little lecture at that specific class. Then this time as well, we're doing a premiere of one of IU's compositions students, and the title of the piece, I think it's Psalm Fragments. Yeah, Psalm Fragments by Jeremy McConan. So this is a brand new piece for solo shakuhachi. Really excited for that too. That's great news. Like anytime there's new music for shakuhachi, that's good, and trust me, this piece is good. It's fantastic news. So going up there, like already, that's amazing stuff there. Then the Office of Entrepreneurship, we're doing a lunch there, talk a little bit about business and how to get yourself going as well. And then there's a mini concert at the Asian Cultural Center. That's also, or it's the Cultural Center, but it's the Asian Cultural Group that is sponsoring it. So we're gonna do a little mini concert there and a Q&A. And that's on Friday. I think it's at 5:15, 5 o'clock around there. So show up at 5. And you can see a lot of these things on the the Jacob School of Music website. Now, those are all the things that I'm doing there at that first part of it. So from Tuesday to Friday, we've got Gabe Lubell's class, we've got the composer seminar, Office of Entrepreneurial lunch, Asian Cultural Center doing a little mini concert there. The big concert is on March 8th, Sunday, March 8th at 5 p.m. And that's going to be at the Buzzkirk Chumley Theater, which is the big theater. So if you're in Indiana, and you're not that far away, come on down and come watch the concert. There is a pre-concert talk with me and the conductor, Ryo Hasegawa, who is a good friend of mine. I knew him when he was still doing his I think when he started or just finished his undergrad and was doing his master's is when we met. And then I've known him all the way through his PhD, or I think it's a DMA that he's doing. And I've seen him get his first jobs. It helped him start up some of his company. I've been a really big supporter of him. I think he's a fantastic conductor, a wonderful musician, and a very nice guy. Also Japanese, so we can speak Japanese with each other too. But anyways, we're doing that together. So I'm very excited to work with him. Excited to do that pre-concert talk. So if you are available at that 4:15 time for the pre-concert talk, I really recommend that you go because I want to talk about Toshio Hosokawa's piece. And so there's a few things I want to talk about with this piece even now before we get into the really deep stuff. Um, with with Hosokawa's works, and especially this one, I think what he does really well in his music and what makes it so successful is that it's purely organic. Um, in this piece, if you look up the description of it, right, Autumn Wind for Shakuhachi and Orchestra, you don't get very much in the explanation of the piece, and I think that's purposeful, and I want to tell you what I think the piece is about and how I hear it. I hear this as a sonic representation of nature pre Commodore Perry, and you hear like the nature of Japan, that it can be very rough, it can be very unforgiving, but it's also very beautiful, subtle, and silent. And there's a lot of really just gorgeous moments in here for the shakuhachi and the orchestra. Very well orchestrated, uh, just full of colors. And you never really get a sense of a big melody. You get little like snippets here and there. And it's almost like a bird call or like an animal singing in the distance. Then there's this one really exciting section where the orchestra gets really big and the shakuhachi stops. It has this extremely loud note, and then it's resonates off in the distance and stuff like that. Orchestra takes over, and it almost sounds like you hear the Industrial Revolution. You can hear like the starts of trains chugging through nature, and it's very uneasy to hear that sound. Or it's almost like an unwanted visitor. And then you feel like running, you almost like run away from that back into nature. And so that's what's so interesting about this piece. It's about 15 minutes long. And then after that, we're going to play a Natsunoko. I did an arrangement for orchestra, harp, and shakuhachi, and so we'll play that together too. So we get some good melody at the end as well. Then the next week, I'm actually visiting some family in Muncie, Indiana, and I will be doing a premiere of my new piece, my new composition, which is the a Soul Seki Trio. So let me pull this up really quickly because I have the trio set right here. Okay, so I did this little song cycle, and it's really short. It's only about like 6 minutes of a piece. So it's called Three Scenes from Soul Seki. It's a chamber song cycle drawn from the literary work of Natsume Soul Seki. And so he's one of Japan's most revered writers. Each movement is less of a song in the Western dramatic sense than a scene of attention. It's a haiku, as if you will. But none of the excerpts are haiku except for the first one. Or so only one of them is really truly a haiku. So the way of looking at it is more of like you listen, reflect, and then remember afterwards. So you're reflecting on it in the moment, and then you just remember it, and it kind of lives with you. It's not something like a song that you would walk out afterwards and you'd start humming it. Maybe the last one could do that, but I still don't think so. So the voice doesn't even dominate the movements of the pieces either. It's there's a lot of stuff too where it's almost like the vocalist is just kind of sporadically declaring these sort of things. So sometimes the pieces also could dissolve into classical like minyo tunes from like the 1700s. So the first one I did is called The Plum Blossom. So it's Ume no Hana, Fushou nare domo Ume no Hana. So, and now it's not that much in Japanese, right? It just kind of sounds like plum blossom. It goes, or I'm not worthy, the plum blossom. So how do we translate this in English into a modern sense? And this is what I came up with. Though I am unworthy, the plum blossoms bloom just the same. So the way I think about this is that this is the opening scene of these three songs here, and it's built around humility and inevitability. So it's a quiet self-effacement, though I'm unworthy. It's immediately undercut by nature's indifference, right? It doesn't matter whether you're worthy or unworthy. Nature doesn't view in those sort of dichotomies of, right and left, or, you know, this sort of thing. It's very non-dualist. And so the plum blossom blooms regardless of the merit or failure of the individual. So this is the one of the pieces that at the end of it, towards the close of this movement, the singer hums a very well-known folk melody associated with plum blossoms. And so it's like almost like you're recalling it unconsciously from childhood. So the melody though isn't presented in the full voice. Like it's not the full melody. It's just a fragment of it, because you can't really recall all of it. You're just like, oh yeah, there's that melody, and you kind of think about it that way. The second one that I'll be doing at Ball State University with Victoria, and her last name is escaping my mind, and then my adoptive violin mother, who is Anna Weiman. She's going to be playing violin, and she's incredible. Very, very just beautiful sounds. Here's the second one, The Sakura Leaves, and this is from Kusamakura, one of his books. The mountain cherry, quietly steeped in its own shadow, drifts with the flowing water, lengthening, folding, curving, softly withering as it goes. So it's not really a poem, but it's very poetic. It uses a lot of poetic language, and so that's why I chose this excerpt. And so this is also a movement. It's a single extended image of the mountain cherry blossoms kind of falling into the water and then being washed down the river. And so Soseki's prose here is already very musical. Tracing the slow, elastic motion, reflecting branches, moving water. Like that just, that gives you all the material you need to do it for shakuhachi. We have so many good techniques for that. And so the music that I wrote flows in the same sensibility. Phrases stretch and contract. There's a lot of pushing and pulling. Lines will bend. They restrict. Like there's not a really strict metric feeling because of that strong rubato that I've notated in the score. Also in this is that if you think from the Sakura Leaves perspective, if we personify it, there's not I'm goal oriented, I'm trying to go into this river, I'm trying to get down to there's none of that. It's just almost as if like you're on a lazy river. Who cares where you end up? I'm just, going in circles. I'm fine with that too. And so the voice sometimes in this piece will float just like that. Sometimes it's tethered to a pitch, and sometimes it's just, slipping into like a sort of breathy contour. And so that's the second movement. The last one that I did, and notice that they're all, trees. This last one is Image of Pine. And this one is from Gubi Jin Soul. And it's another Souseki book. And I love this one. I love this one so much. Here's the poem. I can't really say poem. This is the excerpt of it. Hanging above the bed is Yosai's painting. A child with a chigo topknot, standing among young pines. A sword bearer. Peaceful and idyllic, just as it has been since long ago. And so this is the final scene that I'm painting with with this trio, 3-movement trio. It turns inward, but towards like a stillness and a sort of continuity. So the painting is still, but the idea, like kind of that remembering and having almost like this desire of like, it would be so great if that would keep going. You get these two kind of contrasting elements. So the painting described is not dramatic at all. The word that they use there for peaceful is nodoka, and it suggests a little bit more than peace. It also has the idea of calm that has never been interrupted. Serenity that is quietly endured over, generations and generations, passed down from father to son. And so musically, this piece resists any sort of type of development of the melody or formal changes that would then expand the music into a longer piece. The gesture just returns unchanged again and again and again. The the textures of it are fairly sparse. They're not complicated. There's no rich harmonies. Um, Time seems to just sort of be the same idea. Is simple 3/4. Just unlike the other pieces are sometimes moving from one tempo to another. Sometimes they're changing the rhythmic relationship towards each other, and even a lot of them have very complex harmonies in it. So you got to get a very simplistic ending, and so that's the piece that I'll be performing on March. What is that? So 8th, and then this is, I think it's the 13th Friday night. Is that? Let me look at the calendar here. March 13th, and that'll be at 7:30 at Sursa Hall at Ball State University. So that's what's going on for these next couple of weeks. So we have the Concerto with Orchestra. That's the big one. That's going to be Sunday, March 8th. I'm going to double check that. And yeah, so Sunday, March 8th at 4:15 is our pre-concert talk at Buzzkirk Chumley Hall. And then the other big performance is Friday the 13th. Ooh, at Sursa Hall at Ball State University. So if you're in those areas, or if you have friends that are in those areas, have them come out and see. It might be their first time to hear Shakuhachi live and in person. Also, if you are in that area and you want to meet and you want to have a lesson, or you just want to hang out, grab some coffee, I'll be happy to make some time to do that. So go ahead, shoot me an email. So let's switch it over now. I haven't done a live stream in a long time. Thought it'd be nice to maybe just give 10 or 20 minutes for questions that people might have about Shakuhachi. So if you have any questions, now is the time to ask them about Shakuhachi. And if not, that's fine. We can end the live stream early. I'm fine with that too. Or if you have any questions about the events coming up as well, I can answer those also. Or events, ask away. Okay, and maybe I can write them out really quickly too. I probably should do that. I can write out those events, and so then you can look in the live chat and then pick those up as well. So if you're interested in going to any of them, we would love to have you, of course. Love to have you there. And a lot of these things too are free. So, all right, let's see here. Okay, so I think that's that one. All right, now I have to delete a couple of these because some of these are not open to the public. Oops. All right, let's just do this one. So this is the first one that we're doing. March 4th, March 5th, a Thursday. There's this one. Yeah, please do, man. If you're not far, definitely come out and take a watch of them. Then I'm also posting these as we go. So please come to see the concerto. It's a very interesting piece. A very, very interesting piece. And I think it rightly deserves the performance that it's going to get. I think it should be performed more because it opens up people's minds to other possibilities. And then March 13th, Friday, we have at Sursa Hall at Ball State University, 7:30 p.m. And this is kind of like a composer's concert, so there's a lot of new music to that one. So that's the whole list there. So definitely, if you are nearby, like hey, someone carpool with Nistrom. Bring out the whole family. All right. Okay, that's pretty much everything that we have coming up for the next couple of weeks. So yeah, let's go ahead and if there any Nistrom, do you have any questions about the about that event? All right. There's that one that's covered. All right, good. All that stuff is done. All right, so I guess the next part is maybe just 5-10 minutes of Shakuhachi questions. If you have anything that you're working on, anything that you're curious about, anything that you've wanted to or that you've been working on that you want to give a shot at, please by all means ask while I'm still here. And then if not, if there's no questions, then we'll call it a day. And I hope that I can see some of you guys um, in the at the concerts. I'm also looking for excerpts here of this piece that I wrote and see if there's anything I can show you guys. Okay, I'll show you this. There's a cool technique that I do, and I'm gonna also do this as an advertising moment for the Giotti, the Taidu Giotti flute here. So the Sakura Leaps one has this very flowing excerpt here. So you kind of see that it's in this quasi 5/4, but it's slowing down, right? It slows down throughout it, so you don't really get the sense of like a strong beat. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth. Then I use this effect as the kind of bubbling water. So that will also be in there as well. And Nistrom, yes, the video will be saved. I'll leave it up because it's an advertisement for this concert and stuff. Let's see if there's anything else in here. Those are probably the two most unique things that are in this movement. It's only 15, 16, 17, 18. It's only 18 measures long. I mean, it's not even a minute and a half of music. The first score, same thing. It's only 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 47. So it's about 3 minutes. It's a fairly short piece. It's like really like a song, and really like a song in that sense, because they're all under 3 minutes. This one has a little bit more complicated harmonies, like I mentioned. This like with the violin players adding this to it, so you get let's see, where are my notes here? Yeah, like that's the opening harmony. So my part might sound like very, very tonal because you get this like that sort of sound with that E flat at the top there. So you get F sharp minor. F sharp minor. Which is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about E flat minor in first inversion. So you get that. And then that D becomes the 7 for that. Like major 7. Put it here. Get kind of, mysterious sort of sounds. Bigger jumps too. That will sound a lot better on a bamboo flute. Those kind of clicky sounds only work on the bamboo. And then here, I'll give you the melody that's like the remembrance at the end here, and then I think we'll call it a day. And so that's that little fragment. It never goes past that kind of like opening introduction idea of the piece. So there you guys have it. A bunch of stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks. When we get back to Nashville, there's more things happening. We've got some concerts here as well. So if you are in the Nashville area, come and check out. I guess I'll do another live stream for that. Any of the open events, that is. So until then, I'll see you guys next time for another Shakuhachi video.